All right, so today we're talking about mistakes. And some of the biggest mistakes that I've made in my life, I've turned into my biggest victories, the biggest opportunities. And I want to help you share that mindset on how to do that. So many people are afraid to fail. So many people are afraid to go after their dreams, to go for it. And I think it's because we were taught that failing is bad, right? But if you have the proper mindset on things, failing is actually what you want to do, because the quicker that you fail, the quicker that you learn and then you apply. Now if you keep failing and or keep making the same mistakes and not learning from your mistakes, then that's where the problem can lie. But if you're really looking to make a change, then you'll do these three things. And the first thing, and I'm going to share with you three stories. And so the first story is me failing in sales. I went 0 for 56, right? I come home, tell my wife, hey, I'm done working at UPS. I'm done. And I'm going to go get the sales job. And I went 0 for 56 in a marketing sales job and finally got that first sale. With getting my real estate license, I probably failed the test at least 12 times, maybe 15. And my wife's like, are you sure you want to keep doing this? Are you sure you want to keep paying the money to get the test? And I said, yes, I do. Because obviously I was studying the wrong way. There's really no excuse to fail that many times, other than that. One, it was hard for me, and two, I just needed to study in a different way. And I finally did, and I finally passed. But here's the perseverance. Like, some of us have this inner perseverance, and if you can learn how to tap into that, you are going to unlock so many doors, right? It'd been easy to walk away and be like, hey, I failed. I tried it. It wasn't for me. But I was in a constant, persistent pursuit of what I wanted. What I wanted was time freedom. I wanted the freedom to be able to do what I want, when I want, how I want, without anybody telling me what to do. And so if I would have just threw in the towel and said I'm done, then I would have never learned. And so the first thing that I want you to start doing is what are some of the things that you know that you're supposed to be going to do, but you're afraid because you're afraid of failure. You're afraid of making that mistake and having it be perfect. Some of you haven't started living out that dream, haven't started, building that business because you want it to be perfect before you actually go and do it. And that's not how it works. You just got to go for it and then make it better along the way. But if you never take that first step forward, then you're missing out on the opportunity of learning, right? I say I never lose. Either I win or I learn. When I make mistakes, when I mess up, it's just a learning opportunity. And so you need to change your mindset on how you view that. The second story is in college. I was a college baseball player, and maybe that's part of why I'm okay with failing, right? Because if you go 3 for 10, you're in the Hall of Fame, right? Going 333 at the plate. But I was really frustrated. My coach, he pulled me. Bases are loaded, 1 out. All I got to do is hit a pop fly to outfield to score that run against Lewis and Clark State. And he pulls me. He puts somebody else in. He's a great ball player as well, but I was like, I could do that job, right? And that person pops up to first base, and I'm livid. A couple innings later, he's still in there. Same situation, 1 out, bases loaded, and he pops up again to first base. And I'm so pissed, and I just let my coach have it, right? I lost my cool. I threw my helmet. I was very, very angry. And my coach suspended me from going to Idaho that next weekend, and I missed 3 games. And during that time, I had to decide, hey, am I going to let this ruin my season, or am I going to go learn how to get better, how to put myself in a situation where coach will never pull me again, and he's never going to suspend me again. So I had a decision to make, and I did, right? I went into the batting cages, and actually I figured out, in my mind, how to hit, right? And I had my best season ever, my senior year. And it was because of that moment, I got to step back and I got to just be me, and no coaches, no players, nobody else in the cage, just me. And I got to win the battle in my mind right here. And I did, because I believe if you can win this battle, you can win any battle in life. And so I want to encourage you, like, with, hey, where's that mistake that I've made where I've lost my cool? I've had, anger, and I just walked away from it. I walked away from that relationship instead of saying, hey, I made a mistake. I put myself in that. It's taking ownership, right? Most people have problems with taking true ownership, because if you take full responsibility for every situation, even when it's not your fault, but you take responsibility for it, that's really showing your character. It's showing like, hey, I want to take responsibility for this, because if I would have, done that better, then it would have been a different result, right? So put yourself in, so change the mindset. Again, changing your mindset. First, don't lose your cool, but then change your mindset. So change the perspective on instead of losing, turning it into a learning situation. And then also like, hey, how can I put myself in a situation where I can forgive, I guess, was what I needed to do. I needed to forgive my coach, teammates, everybody I was mad at, and look internally and say, hey, I need to take responsibility for this. It's not their fault that he pulled me. He obviously didn't believe that I was capable of getting the job done. And so I made it clear that it was never going to happen again, but I had to do it internally first, right? So I want to encourage you with that. And the last thing is kind of my story of one of the biggest mistakes. I was under I decided to do drugs and alcohol, and I ended up hitting my head and cracking it. And it was a hard time. It was probably the lowest point I've ever been in my life. I was devastated. Sports was taken from me, and I was never going to be able to play baseball or football again. And I was broken. And I made a decision right then to say, hey, I'm going to give this to God. I'm going to give this to God and say, hey, I know I'm not perfect. I know I've made mistakes, but I'm not going to let it define me anymore, right? I'm going to move forward. And then there's a verse that says, forgetting what's behind and straining on towards what's ahead to reach the goal which Christ has called us towards. And I believe that transformation comes from not only the mind, but it says be transformed by renewing your mind. And if you renew your mind, you begin to renew your heart. And when you renew your heart, you're able to go after your dreams, right? And you're able to look at things differently. And so I just want to encourage you, no matter what mistakes you've made, your mistakes and your past don't define you, right? They may be part of your story, but they're not the thing that defines you, no matter what level of mistake you've made. And it's just an opportunity. That's what you have to see it. It's an opportunity to learn. And so that's what I want to encourage you guys with today. Those three stories, those three action steps of, hey, I need to change the way that I think, and I need to change my perspective, and I need to see mistakes as an opportunity, and I need to fail. I need to go fail as quickly as possible, because then I get to learn more, right? If you're so scared to never make a mistake, then you're never going to learn. And so just want to encourage you guys with that today. Have an amazing day. Be blessed, and we'll talk to you soon.